Forever.
Shut the fuck up. I cannot believe you said that it took me forever. It took me.
Yeah, I'm already live.
Oh.
Like, yeah.
Well, I was putting raspberry flavoring into my cup.
Oh no, I'm messing with you, mate. I'm messing.
I want to see if I can get Spotify to actually work with me.
Even have self promo?
Does what?
No, I don't think it does.
Does what?
Just one of the. Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Nothing.
Hello, Stella. I'm good. How are you?
Is it gonna connect? I'm wondering if it's gonna connect. Are we gonna be able to hear? Yo?
Yo.
Wait. Let me just check.
Check. You're checking?
I'm checking
I don't know what you're checking, but what's up?
to see if my music's playing.
Bruh. I don't think they have.
It is! Oh my gosh, it is! You can say I'm plastered, 'cause I hit the wall. I lost count after 21 in the college brawl. Well, I've been a boozing bastard. They calling me Edward 40 Hands. I can't touch anyone with an enemy like me who would need a friend. Never mind, I'm drunk. Well, we've had enough power since the blackout started. 40 kg for the broken hearted. I try to see the glass as half full, but I'd probably just drink that too. Glass half full, I'd probably just drink that too. Well, I'm the reason they call it an Irish goodbye, and I hope I don't choke on my vomit tonight. Well, I bet that a bottle of brandy is so bitter to... I can't sing that fast. Sorry if I slur. Take with my anxiety and my sobriety, I killed 2 birds with 1 stoner. So if you see me, please... wanna be an organ donor. Well, we've had enough power since the blackout started. 40 kg for the broken hearted. I try to see the glass as half full, but I'd probably just to drink that too. The First Step by Will Wood. Glass half full, I'd probably just to drink that too.
Alright, sure, have fun.
Well, I'm going down and I'm taking you with me. I'm bringing the water to the horse. I'll Macaco, do you like the song I'm singing? That with me. So I can clone it and have a little more. I got a new pair of headphones from Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree?
Dollar Tree?
Well, we've had enough. Oh. It was too early. Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree.
I'm gonna freaking attack you, that's how I'm gonna do.
Oh, power since the blackout started. 40 kg for the broken hearted. I try to see the glass as half full, even when I'm empty, half full. I try to see the glass as half full, but I'd probably just... Ah!
Well, I'm very short though, and I don't
Cosmo.
know here. Of course it is.
Just drink that too.
Cosmo. I'm hoping we get,
That is such a good song from Will Wood.
Dyle, floor
Dyle, Dyle, Dyle. Dyle, Dyle, Dyle. Dyle, Dyle, Dyle.
Means good, man. Oh, heck yeah, I got a boop as well. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate it.
Can I have a boop?
No, you don't get a boop.
Oh. What the fuck? I just heard oof. Where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? What the fuck? What is going on?
Why do you need your mouse?
Because my mouse is acting up. Something's gone weird. I cannot move my mouse. Like, I'm sorry. I legitimately, it's stuck in this, like, at the top of my screen. I'm sorry. Right whenever you got hit, Salemcat literally did the fart reverb sound. Drink blood if you let me, baby.
I got whacked in the face by
I'm sorry. I legitimately, I don't know what happened.
I trusted you.
I'm sorry.
I trusted you.
Between the Morse code lines, like a cup of living just enough to beg you, pretty boy, please let me die. I can drink your blood. Did you take the box of chocolates you dropped?
Yeah, I did.
Damn.
I'll let you know if I poop out another one. How about that?
Shit out. Well, just dropping by to say hi. Gotta go eat. Ooh. What are you gonna eat? Is it good? Is it good?
Oh my god, Pyro, was that a Call of Duty reference?
Hey, by the way, Salem,
What?
you're stinky.
What do you mean I'm stinky?
You stinky.
Did Elma tell you to say that to me?
No.
I don't believe that. That was such a hesitant no.
No, they didn't.
That was such a hesitant no. I don't.
Oh, I
believe
can
it.
move
If
my
I go
mouse. I can move
on
my mouse.
Oh, now you
I pressed
can.
Q.
After I get murdered.
Let's fucking go. I don't know what happened. I genuinely don't know what happened.
Oh,
So don't be
I just
one.
got a Call
This
of
was
Duty
a
reference,
mistake.
and I'm the
I'll
happiest
take
man
my
ever
lead.
now.
Go let
Hey,
me know
Pyro,
if you see
Pyro, you wanna hear a
a
joke?
little black
You wanna
bag
hear a
with the
joke?
toe tag, please. If you don't hate me, then reanimate me. Prove it to me, baby.
I'm almost done.
I like how your stream can't even hear me singing, but then they gotta deal with me singing.
Yeah.
Monsters
I get
can
it.
be people.
It's
So,
not- no, it's
oh,
not your
oh,
line, Pyro.
please, I can drink your blood if you let
Get your
me.
butt to the
I'm
elevator.
getting my ass to the elevator. Shut the fuck up about that.
Hurry up!
No, I'm already in the elevator.
Hurry
Blood
up!
if you let me. Oh, that's not good.
Anyways, Pyro, 2 fish are in a tank. One's a
Two
Do you know how to
birds on a
drive this thing?
wire.
Fish.
I wish I had the something's fishy. That would literally like be the best. I love that emote, but I have not bought it yet. I've seen so many people just using it. What the fuck?
What?
Thank you.
What? Thank you.
Thank you for being a friend. Ooh, suburbia overture. White picket fences, barbed wire and trenches, trick or treat, Merry Christmas. Ah! Ah! Oh my gosh!
What? What are you
Go!
for? Oh, you're fine.
I'm not fine. I'm not fine. I'm at 1 heart. I'm dead.
Maybe I should play as a healer, right?
Maybe. Maybe we should also have some more people. You know,
People is not the issue, and you know it.
make it faster.
What the hell is Goob? I'm gonna die to Goob. I'd rather not die to freaking Shrimpo over here.
He was in the fucking thing. He scared the shit out of me.
Hug me!
How did you walk right through him and not get hit? You walked right through him and then he grabbed you. He was like, "Come on, let me whisper in your ear. Let me whisper in your ear, dude."
Dude, don't whisper in my ear. No, he walked right. I walked right through him because he was starting his
Myers-Briggs, okay, ultra takes a village to fake a whole culture. Oh, if I had a nickel for every time a manager at my job has almost gotten into a fight with a customer, I'd have 2. I would have 2 nickels. I'd have 2. Oh, that's the person I played with earlier. I joined someone else's server.
You're not in my server, so I have to join off you now?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hey, maybe we could play with them. Because I only friend people, like, from runs that are actually pretty good. I want to find them real quick, though. Wonder if they're hosting a run, or... All up in my... Everybody's all up in my... Why are they on top of the tree? Oh my gosh. They got on top of the tree.
They're on the tree?
Like the small one, the one in the potted plant. Ad break? What do you mean ad break?
You have freaking affiliate. Of course, you're gonna get ads.
That Astro's just... No, that Astro was so shocked. Hit number stations becomes
What are you
radiation.
doing?
Trying to find my friend. As I stream alone. Are you my friend? No, you're not.
Oh my lord.
Are one of y'all my friend? You're not. You're not.
Oh my god.
Who's this Louie?
I don't know.
Their name tag ain't showing up.
It's not showing up for me either. I can't even see yours if that tells you anything.
Oh.
I just know this one's you.
Yes, I got good from your sister and I'm laughing in jail. Oh, there they are.
Oh my god.
I was trying to find them and they're just like, where are they?
I would play it. Should I play as Cosmo? Is Cosmo better than Ginger?
Ginger has a longer reach.
Yeah, I know, but I'm also like thinking who's better like stat wise.
Blood, didn't they want your
I'm
blood?
thinking Cosmo, but that skill check size is so bad.
Pebbles has a sinking cap.
I don't care about Pebble having his.
Oh man.
Where'd
Wait,
you
they're
find
getting
them?
in a run,
They're
they're getting
over
in a run, they're getting a run.
there. Okay.
Get in! Let's
If I need
go!
to look after both of y'all, I'm suing y'all, but how about that?
With what money to file the paperwork?
Yeah,
It's
I will
only
file the
culture.
paperwork.
It's only culture's not.
Breathing in my ear.
I don't think that was breathing in your ear. That's more like gasping for air.
That's still breathing.
It's trouble
You're
breathing.
still breathing in my ear.
Didn't they want your blood? So don't apologize.
Can't believe this. This is harassment. I'm being harassed. Not actually, gang. I'm messing.
Pause?
Yeah, you're harassing.
Oh, what? Oh, we. Oh, I should probably tell Twitter that I'm live.
Live?
Yeah,
You're good.
I forgot.
You forgore.
I forgot.
You forgore.
Hold up. Ugh.
I'm not holding
Post.
up. I'm going.
Shut the fuck. Hey, who's here? Is that Poppy? That's Poppy. Come here, Poppy.
Poppy and Brusha. Brusha's somewhere.
Brusha. Brusha. Get your ass over here.
I'm gonna cry. Okay. Where the hell? Oh, there's one machine. I found a machine and a tape. You know what?
There's a machine. There's two machines in the room I'm in. I'm gonna exit the room. Have just been normal.
Okay.
Oh, why am I lagging?
I don't know. Maybe because you're not at your house.
I am at my house.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Were you at someone else's place earlier?
Yeah.
Oh.
They were hitting me Bluetooth wise.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why I kept on
I
dying.
see.
Like, I got to floor 10 one time, and then fucking
God.
died because they literally hit me Bluetooth wise.
Okay,
Yeah.
So where are the other machines?
In the other corner.
Never
I
mind,
think
Yada
Yada
on
just
it.
did. Yeah, I think Yada just did it.
Yeah, Yada.
Get your
I
ass
did
to
one
the
machine.
elevator.
I'm useful to society, gang. I'm useful.
You're useful to society. We live in a society.
How are you, Icy? I hope you're doing
Hey, why can't I sprint? Oh.
I don't know. Teamwork. Oh my god. Oh, thanks.
She's fine.
You scared me.
She's fine.
Well, you know, at least you guys don't have a chunk of bitten out of your head.
She's fine.
I'm not fine.
You're fine. You're smiling. You're fine.
I'm just my face. Do I look like
I think Yada took a bite out of you.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
She has sharp teeth though. These aren't sharp teeth bite marks. They're rounded. Louie, was it you?
No.
Well, now I'm not convinced.
I didn't do
Finn's
shit.
here.
Ooh, bottle of pop. Don't mind if I do. Why did I say it like that?
I don't know.
I already know that Finn's here. Give me the goods. I'm chasing Finn.
Shouldn't it be the other way
Get
around?
your ass over here, Finn.
I'm
Get
not
over
lying,
here.
I'm not gonna lie. But it's okay. I'll be awake.
It's Tisha.
Oh, great, Tisha. Of course it's Tisha.
Mm-hmm. Yummy, Tisha.
If you can ever find anyone, you can always assume that it's probably Tisha.
Broken my ankles. Okay, there's one in this corner room that I was about to go into. That I am actively walking out of. What's
Okay.
Ginger's stealth anyways? Is it 4 stars like Cosmo?
I think so, yeah.
Ah.
I'm out of stamina. What a great day to live. I just have 2 in movement speed. Let me check. There we go. Let me check. Yeah, 15. Yeah, I have 4
So that's
stars
like
in
what?
stealth.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't gotta worry about you.
Yeah, I'm vibing.
You're vibing.
I'm vibing.
You're vibing.
Sure am.
Yep, you're vibing. Such an
Thank God now you know
impossible
that the machine's also almost done.
I already said get to the elevator.
You did?
Yeah.
I
Said
don't
it
have
again.
chat open.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that.
Sorry,
You're getting chased.
God damn.
Ooh, you're getting chased.
Oh no, I'm being chased.
I'm chasing ya.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. Distracting a twisted. Like that. They like you get into the elevator and they're like walking away. They're like, oh sorry man, I can't go into the elevator, you know. Dandy says I can't.
Dandy says you can't. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
Dandy says I can't
get
go into
out.
the elevator.
I gotta grab my freaking protein.
Get your ass over here! This is amazing stream jams, guys.
No, it's not.
Oh.
I'm messing. I don't know what I'm listening to. My mom texted me. What did you text me?
I put a whole bunch of the Fat Rat songs into my stream playlist one night, and I just kept them in there.
Whoa, the Corpse Bride is now for a month. Dude, that is so cool.
What?
I'm missing my skill tricks because of this. Hold up. Limited edition Monster High Doll celebrates 20th anniversary of Tim Burton's classic Corpse Bride. They made a Corpse Bride Monster High Doll.
Ooh.
It's very $70 on Amazon.
$70?
$70 on Amazon and $65.99 at Target.
God damn!
I'm not paying that much money for a doll, Mom. No offense. I'm not for a Furby, maybe.
Speaking
no,
of
like Furbies.
Speaking of dolls, I need to customize another doll.
Why not just remake your old one?
That's what I'm gonna do. My gosh, you're distracting now. You're distracting now. That's your job now. Well, I'm sorry, I forgot that you're slower than me. Imagine being slower.
Okay, I can only use the vanity mirror when it's panic mode. Shut up.
Oh my gosh, imagine being slower.
Why is she texting me?
fuck you mean womp womp? Oh, they're right there. Easy.
Yeah. Go grab your dogs.
Roof, roof, roof! Roof, roof, roof! Yummy tapes.
How does that make you feel?
Punch me in the face.
God, they're all on the other side. I'm out of stamina. Keep those low.
My gosh, there's 2 machines in the room that I just went into. They're literally all on this side.
Of course they are. Dear God, Jesus, I'm sorry. I had to sneeze.
Oh, I died because I sneezed earlier. Because I'm allergic to both cats and dogs, and my Jima has 2 cats and 3 dogs, and the 2 cats are just so adorable. They're little kittens still.
Them and then get yourself sick.
Yeah. So I was just sneezing. But they're so adorable. Dusty Rose is my favorite of the 2, because Tiger Lily, she's getting kind of mean. Yeah. Like, she'll...
Yana, you can't hog all the machines. Jesus Christ, they must be one done every floor. Stop hogging them all.
Unfortunately, they aren't, watching stream. I can tell them, hey, if you want to hear us, you can watch the stream.
No, they're just gonna hear me complain about them hogging the machines.
Oh my gosh, I didn't get enough get to elevators.
Oh my god. Sorry. Damn.
Ugh, I can't believe you. Oh my gosh, I need help, I need help, I need help, I need help, I need help.
Shut up, you are fine. Jeez. You're fine, Goober.
I can't fucking type. Fuck!
I can't type. I all got tagged.
Come on, Tisha.
Twitch.
Yeah, not Twitch completely. I just said I'm live. Oh shit, I'm not gonna say a word. Mm-hmm. We're gonna ignore that. You didn't see a thing.
So like I was behind you. Yada, I swear to God, if you take that last machine, Yada, you're dead to me. What the hell?
You didn't see a thing from me, you know? You didn't see it. You didn't see a thing. I totally didn't forget you were Ginger. I totally didn't forget that you were a healer.
Did you pick up a band-aid?
Even worse.
A medkit?
Yeah.
Okay, well you're on your own.
I'm sorry! I'm sorry! Hey, there's a band-aid right here, though.
You don't fucking need it. You have a medkit. The fuck you need a band-aid for? You can't even say Twitch.
I can't even say my name.
That's tragic.
Ripple. On the purple one. Listen, I'm used. Oh, Connie's here. And Poppy.
I got Poppy.
Get your ass over here. Jesus.
Thank you.
They said, oh.
Oh, as if they know what the purple one.
The purple one. It means Twitch. Because Twitch is purple. Twitch is purple.
Yeah,
they're purple.
Why the fuck do you want me to take the goddamn eject button? That's useless. I'm not taking the eject button. No! I don't need your eject button. Do the
Oh my
damn
gosh.
I don't need your eject button. Scoff.
Scoff?
I just don't, I don't, like, make the actual scoff noise. I just go scoff. I got scoff out loud.
I
Yeah,
keep
don't do
thinking that, like, the crates that are, like, over here, I keep thinking they're, Coco. For some reason. It's not a crate, it's a chair.
Bruh.
It looks like Coco from, like, whenever you're going fast, because it looks like Coco.
Stop stealing all my machines. I literally did. I'm on my second one.
It's because Yada's a faster extractor than you.
Listen, I can only go so fast, alright?
And they know that because of your stats.
Shut up.
No.
I'm gonna butt you. There. Get to Ellie.
You're gonna what? You're gonna unplug me? What do you mean by that? Oh. I was like, unplug? What the fuck do you mean by that?
How am I supposed to huh?
I don't fucking know. Oh my gosh, we need help, we need help, you know, we need help.
I keep forgetting that. I play as Yada. Do solos just because faster extraction and faster movement. Don't tell them that we're gonna call you weirdo. Stop trying to freaking.
I need more viewers.
You know what I need?
What?
Band-aids and medkits. As if you didn't take the only medkit that we found so far.
Listen, I'm used to public runs. Oh, hey, Cosmo. I'm used to public runs.
Wanna keep talking?
And I'm used to people taking. I'm not used to having a healer anymore. I feel like I've been being spoiled with, like, I don't know. And, you know.
You feel like you're being spoiled?
Like in a public run, I feel like I'm spoiled whenever I have a healer that's healing me all the time. And so I'm not used to a healer being in the run with me anymore. Because there's barely any anymore.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And, you know, they've got the...
No! I know you see that last machine! No! You stay away from me! Damn it! I got halfway done before I spotted it. Damn it! And I was gonna be like, yes! I get to do 3 machines! And it's like, nah. You gotta found it. Damn. That is.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. See, guys, I'm such a good distractor.
See, guys, I'm healing no one. No one gets healed.
Listen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot that you were Ginger. I forgot you were Ginger. I'm sorry. What the fuck do we need these for?
What?
Extraction speed and stealth.
Dandy.
Dandy, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? What the fuck are you thinking about? Jeez. I cannot believe you. How? What do you mean, what are you speaking like that? I'm from Oklahoma, I'm country. Cause I'm country. I'm from the... Ooh, never mind, I can't take that. Finn's somewhere.
Great, I'll get the machine prime.
Oh, hey, Finn. The it. Yada has V-mode. That's why they're getting 3.
I know! That doesn't mean they get to snatch all the machines for themselves. I know they have V-mode. primed one machine.
Okay.
Which is other good if Yada pops it, I swear to God, I'm gonna punch them to the goddamn moon!
I got a bottle of pop. And
Caleb, did you forget to take your meds again? The meds again? What do you mean? What meds?
meds? Oh my gosh, you're talking to
because
the
I'm
void! Oh gosh, you're talking to the void. Thank you, Ko-Fi Bot. You're talking to the void.
Come on, I could get to this machine first. No! Damn it, Yada! Fuck you!
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I can get to this machine first. I can get you to this machine first.
Dude, I was so close to it. I saw it in plain sight. And then I'm like, I can get to this person. I see Yada running to it as well. And they got there before because I slowed down. Don't say get to the elevator. We still have one machine. I'm going to pop
You
it
primed it.
Yeah, I primed it. I'm going to pop it as soon as they finish that machine.
You primed it.
Yeah, and then I'm going to pop it as soon as they finish their machine because I'm tired of their bullshit. No offense.
Yeah, you primed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you primed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you primed it.
Yeah.
You primed
Yes,
it.
Salem, you have to remember, we're not real. Ah, shit, I'm not. You guys aren't real.
I'm not real. Holy shit! No, we need. I need help! I need help!
You're fine, you have a band-aid and a medkit. Shut up.
Oh, but I need help. I need. Oh.
Stupid.
Floor leak.
Not need help.
Hi, Finn.
Finn, kill Yada.
No.
Sorry, I'm so used to playing solo. Playing with other people, it just pisses me off.
Holy shit! Boxon just teleported and spawned out of nowhere.
What the fuck?
Scared the shit out of me. He literally just started running at me, and it's like, where the fuck did you come from?
Great. Alright, I'm priming a machine, by the way.
Okay.
And it's primed.
Nightmares start as dreams, and I get.
I see the other machine.
Screaming.
Oh my god. Oh
They
my
say
god.
that
Come on.
beauty's
I could do it.
just
No.
in
No.
Did she
No,
get into it
Yada,
first?
no, please, don't find it. Stay in your illness. Stay ill. Please, I see it. It's right in there. It's right in view. I can get to it first. Please, please. No, Yada, no, please. Let me have this. No! It's like they
I know, they're talking to the wall again.
It's like they're edging me on.
They're edging you?
They know what they're doing.
They know damn well what they're doing.
I'm gonna crash out. Hi, Bacon. Crash out over this Yada man.
Also, how was your food, El Macaco? How was your food? Was it good?
I'm freaking ill. I want bottle.
This is hilarious.
Shut up. Shut up.
There's 2 air horns. I want it, but I have a bottle of
I
pop.
don't need the damn things. Why are you telling them I'm crashing out?
Cause it's funny. It's hilarious.
I'm gonna shove her head in a toilet.
You'll get soggy though.
How? You're to the top. You're a fucking balloon.
Yeah, I'll splash it everywhere. You want to get splashed with the dirty toilet water?
Why is Yada fucking spinning right now?
She dropped a box of chocolate.
Oh.
There are 2 at the broken elevator area. There's Yeah, there's 2. Hey, Finn!
Who
Finn!
are they wanting to have
Finn!
this
Get
box
your
of
ass over here.
chocolate? Who are they wanting to have it? They're not saying who. They're just staring at it.
Take the damn box of chocolate.
They go, Louie, you want me to have it?
Yeah.
God damn it, Finn was here. Shit. I didn't prime that thing. Fuck. Okay, fine, then I'll take it.
Take the damn chocolate. Oh shit, we're already at floor 10.
Well, yeah, you have one that's fast on extracting, and I got one that's like.
Where the fuck did Finn go?
I don't know.
Get your ass back over here! Ooh, I broke my ankles!
Be prepared for having 3 next floor, by the way.
You need to make a chart.
What do you mean I need to make a chart?
You need to make a chart on, like, the amount of twisteds based on the amount of players. Because you know better than I do.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Not real. Well, floor 9 is for people who have, like, more than 4
Is this
people.
Driving with My Darling or Mr. Wolf? It's Mr. Wolf. And that pretty red dress with those pretty black eyes.
God
Hello,
damn it!
Mr. Wolf. Oh, what a
It's okay, I'm on the
surprise
last
to
machine.
find you here so late in the night.
Get to elevator, Yad. You probably got
Supper.
3 machines.
Just the 2 of us. Oh, Mr. Wolf, you want me to stay with this? You'll regret it one day.
Fight myself, I am slow
I
down.
have the thing you love. But the feet in me. The feet in me? What's
Hello?
up? Open wide. One of us make it lost inside. They are really wanting us to have that health. I don't have,
I wouldn't have wasted your bottle of pop.
let's,
I would have just suffered.
I got gumballs.
Place it. You just. Yeah, that's what I thought. I had a stamina candy. Why did you waste your bottle of pop for gumballs?
I wanted to go gambling.
Astro. I don't think you should have gone gambling.
I wanted to go gambling. Yada, I gotta go that way. Poppy's over there. Where the fuck is Poppy?
I don't know.
Your tune. You got the thing I
Did you
love.
get the other 2 though? I know you have Astro. Did you at least get?
I'm trying to get them. Come on, Poppy. Come here. And come on, Boxton. Come here. Or you. One of us is going to need. Fuck!
You want healed? Okay. I keep forgetting that you have a goddamn band-aid and a medkit.
Sorry. And now I gotta get Astro again. Get your ass over here. Oh my gosh. Why am I lagging? Tears you open, tastes you whole. Wow, wow,
Damn
wow.
it, Yada. You have 4 machines. You don't need to do 4 machines. God damn, we did 3 machines last time together, and now you want to hog all the machines again? God damn.
Bro's literally crashing out.
Jeez.
Hey, at
There's
least
some for the rest of us.
at least they're fast at it. Dude, I've been in so many teams that, like, I've been in a team that literally argued the entire fucking floor. Entire floor.
Why?
First floor. And then, because they were like, well, I'm gonna distract. And then when See, I got it back.
Oh, okay.
But like, bro.
What?
The one distractor that we all agreed on fucking died, and then everybody fucking left.
Bruh.
That was this morning, I think.
That's tragic, genuinely.
I was like, are you kidding me? Okay, I see Connie. I see Yada. And it's Razzle and Dazzle. A razzle, a dazzle. It's a free floor!
Pretty much, yeah. Unless we're not paying attention to where Connie is.
Yeah.
Which happened to me once, by the way. One time in a blackout, by the way. Shut up. You weren't there for it.
I think I see a band-aid.
Where?
It's over here where I am.
I'm running. Yoink.
There we go. You get a band-aid. Yippee!
Yeah, but you still have the goddamn med kit.
Yeah.
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 Med kit thief.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I forgave you.
Oh, fuck! I lagged whenever I did that.
You want it healed?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
They're like, huh?
Yeah, they're like, aw.
Huh? Oh? Yo. Yo.
God damn it, Yada's on the last one again. I did 2 machines again. I'm gonna freaking crash out. Not that I have been or anything. I would never crash out. Me?
Crash out on live?
Shut up.
Live
I
crash
would
out of
never.
Salem?
I would never crash out.
Are you sure about that? Like, oh my gosh, what is that voice crack?
I don't know. That's not I just saw you freaking Connie go into a machine at the end.
They are really wanting us to have medical attention.
We don't need it.
They are really wanting us to have.
Ability on cooldown.
Protein bar, hell yeah.
I had a jawbreaker.
Honestly, I'm a fan of the protein bar.
I like the protein bars.
Yeah, I like the protein bar. Fuck you.
Well, good luck.
No!
Oh my gosh, scraps! Scraps!
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can I have a heal?
I got Yada on me. You want to heal?
Yes.
I can't. I'm on cooldown and I have Yada on me.
Thank you.
There. Oh my god, Yada. Ow. Yada hurt me.
Ooh! I timed that right. I timed that right. I timed that right.
Heck yeah. I have numbers too. So I'm just stuck on 2 hearts.
I'm gonna try. I think this yeah, that's a good one.
Plug my. Yeah. Okay. We're good.
Fuck. Yada, get your ass over here. Yada's loose. Yada is loose. Yada is loose.
Yada's on the loose. Okay.
Or not Yada. Scraps is on loose. Shit. Got her.
I don't know if my PlayStation would allow me to listen to music while I streamed. I could try it, but I don't want to.
Get copyright claimed.
Dude, I don't give a shit. I don't play music all the time on my other stream. You think I care?
Scraps
I
is
just don't know
loose
if
again. Shit.
Yeah, I just don't know if freaking PlayStation will like allow it, you know? Because sometimes PlayStation doesn't allow you to like do
Woo!
other things, so I'm not like sure entirely. I got scraps on me again.
God damn it. Where the fuck did she go?
Jesus! Ow!
Where'd you? Oh, there she is.
I'm on one heart now.
I'm sorry. Get to the elevator.
It's okay. It's okay.
Go. Fuck me in the ass. Oh my god, sorry. Teamwork!
Of course, there's nothing useful. We're all doomed.
We're gonna ignore that?
We're all doomed to die. It's okay, I just put teamwork. Teamwork.
That shit was terrifying.
Yeah, horrifying.
That was horrifying.
Yeah. I thought I saw Astro.
I see Connie.
Yeah, it was Connie.
I gotta...
By the way.
Okay, I gotta try to find them. Oh, hey, Louie. No.
Hi, Connie.
Okay.
I'll do this mission because, well, I have higher stealth. So. Oh, you could have kept circling around me, you know?
Well, I found the broken kitchen. It doesn't have any.
Yeah, okay.
I definitely slipped up during that. During that blackout. I could not find a good place to kite them all. Because they were all, like, all the places to kite were all too, like, close together. Either that or they were too far apart. Or, like, too large.
Yeah. It's okay.
Because every time I tried getting scraps to that one, room, like, she kept on grabbing me. Or, like, not grabbing me, but she kept on getting loose and then going to grab you.
Yeah,
Why'd I say grabbing me? Well, she did grab me a couple times. She touched me.
Yeah. I did 2 whole machines.
Let's fucking go.
This is my second machine I'm doing.
Let's go.
Fucking Yada's done 5. Gang, I'm about to leave. I'm about to rage quit.
No, don't, please.
I'm about to play a different game.
No.
I'm about to.
We have to survive. We have to get Dyle.
Yeah, once we get to Dyle, I'm immediately dying. I'm grabbing my research and I'm dying.
No.
I'm not gonna keep doing freaking.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I'm not
Oh
gonna
my
keep
gosh.
doing Dyle. I'm not doing 25 machines, mate.
It's not gonna be
No
just
offense.
you doing 25. It's gonna be you and Yada. Hopefully.
What the fuck are you gonna be doing?
Try to
I love how
distract
you're
the other
bored.
ones. We're gonna ignore that. Hey, Poppy. Oh, fuck.
It's not even working.
What saw me?
Oh, I got Louie.
Oh, hey, Louie. Oh, damn it. Whew.
Try not to die.
Hey, Shrimpo. Is there a 4th one? I think there might be a 4th one. Yep, it's Blot.
The 4th one, yeah. I was gonna say the 4th one, yeah.
I just saw his hand.
Because you get 4 on when you're solo on 17, and then 16 it's 2. And then 15 is for 4 and higher.
Huh?
for how many twisted you get.
Oh. Man, I remember one run I did, and, like, Blot's hand was just literally, like...
Oh my god, Blot!
cock-blocking
Oh.
the
I
machine.
might have almost died to Blot.
Don't die to him, please. Don't die.
His hand blunted into the dark! I couldn't see where it was, so I almost got whacked with it.
Don't get whacked.
It's okay, he didn't
Don't
slap
whack
me.
yourself. It's not worth it.
Not Blot's hand being in the way again. Blot, move your damn hand. Get your hand out of there. I'm not taking the long way around just to get to one single machine. Move your damn hand. Move your hand,
Yoda!
boy. Move your hand. Move! Go to bed. Do something. I don't know. Yoda's literally going to the machine I was trying to go to.
Oh. Oh.
Fuck you.
Oh.
Fuck you.
Oh. You got this. It's okay.
I'm tweaking out. I'm gonna.
Bro's
I'm
literally crashing out.
on stream. I'm crashing out on stream.
You're crashing out not only on your stream, but you're crashing out on my stream too.
Oh my god, Blot, move your hand! Dude, I'm gonna kill Blot. Move! Thank you! Jesus Christ, everywhere I go, he's in my damn way.
Oh my gosh.
I found Blot. Fucking Yada's on the last machine, because of course he is. She's not even on the last machine! Why are you telling me to go to the elevator? It's okay, I'm on the last. I found it. I can't do it before Yada.
Let's go.
I'm still crashing out over it though. I'm crashing out on stream.
Crash out live on stream.
On 2 streams, by the way.
On 2 streams.
Yeah.
Because my chat can hear you, but your chat can't hear me.
Yes, I'm just schizophrenic.
It's called a Manic Episode, and you're getting 5 more seasons. Get the fuck out of the way. Oh my god. They were both right there. Holy shit. I juked them. I fucking juked them. Hi, Dandy. You got anything good? You got shit items.
I'm buying them because I want that. That way I can at least maybe get 3 machines done. Or 4. I'm hoping to beat Yada one day.
I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking. I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking. Do I hear stomps? I don't think I do.
No. It's fucking insane.
Oh. Insane in the membrane. Oh, it's Finn.
I wanna
Damn, they're all right there.
So who's here other than Finn?
Louie, Poppy, Cosmo, and Finn.
Okay, so Louis.
They were literally all at the back.
Of course they were.
Get that band. Get the band. Get the band.
I'm doing a machine right now, man.
Get the band!
Calm your damn Calm your titties, okay?
Don't say that about my titties. Yippee!
Yippee! How to use the poor band-aid immediately.
Did you lose yourself? It's always in the last place that you checked.
No wonder why Yada's gets done faster as well. They have a freaking magnifying glass on.
Hey, that's a good combo, though.
I'm gonna punt Yada to the goddamn sun. That's what I'm gonna do.
Please don't.
I'm gonna explode them with my mind.
Explodes pancakes with mind. My fucking...
My fucking pancake immediately gets exploded, yeah.
My
Okay, so
fucking
that's
pen
the
crack!
five. What was that
We're gonna
noise?
ignore that noise. We're gonna pretend that that was a very cool explosion. That was a very cool explosion, you know? We're gonna pretend that that's a very cool explosion.
What was that? No, it wasn't.
That was an explosion. That
Not
was
an explosion. I don't know
that was a
what
very
that was.
cool.
That
Yeah,
sounded
I
like
don't
you
know
were
what you're
dying.
talking about. You're talking to the
That
void,
sounded
bro.
like you
You
were
are talking to
dying.
the void. You are literally talking to the void right now. Me,
Oh,
though,
you're
I'm
crazy.
talking to a real person. We're gonna ignore that noise. It's a very cool fancy explosion. Yeah, that's what it is. Very cool
Why did
explosion.
Yada finish the mission? They're supposed to have it primed. Oh my god, I'm gonna freaking explode. Okay, we're both at the elevator.
Okay.
Yada.
Did you lose yourself? Hi there.
Don't die!
Oh my god!
Breathe!
I was taking a sip and I thought I died!
Breathe, damn!
Oh my gosh, I was taking a sip and I saw the card!
Jesus.
Oh!
Fuck's sake, I'm in a blackout.
Wish me luck.
Fuck you. I'm legit doing this one machine, looking for.
I see Brusha.
His capsules, and then I'm
Huh.
gonna fucking die.
Please don't. You don't see a thing. You don't see a thing. He's coming. Oh, it's Brusha. Oh, it's Boxed in Brusha. Huh? And Dyle.
No, there's someone else other than Dyle as well. There's common humans.
I can't see shit.
I can't either. How do you think I feel? If Dyle sees me, I'm freaking toast, bruh. You know how slow I am? Where's the damn Dyle research? Let's brush up. There's one Dyle. There's one Dyle
gonna work on
research
this.
capsule in the middle. For fuck's sake, brush up.
Get off, get off, get off.
Where's my last Dyle research caps?
Please don't die.
I kind of want to.
Please don't.
Not gonna lie.
We're doing
Not gonna lie.
machines. We're doing machines right now.
Yeah, you two are. I'm looking for research. I'm looking for research, bruh.
Who was it? Where was it from? Oh, it's Russia. Fuck,
Oh,
fuck,
hey,
fuck.
dude.
Get away, get away, get away!
Dyle, yes! Come here, man!
No! No!
Come here! Yes! Come here, kid! Yay!
No!
Anyways, now I'm gonna watch you.
Oh. You fucking asshole! Now I have to do all of these machines on our own.
You're not alone! You still have Yada!
On our own.
Yada has faster extraction. You'll be fine. I'm not doing this in a blackout, no offense. Now, if it was in a blackout, I probably would have. Blackout? No.
Please.
No.
I can't even see his bar half the time.
I can't either, not in a blackout, no. Well, even in a, not even if it wasn't in a blackout.
What's Yada doing?
Ran away from Boxton, so.
Please, I just want to do this machine.
He's hiding your machine.
Dude, get the fuck away from my machine! Oh, wait! Oh my god, I don't even have a heal, I don't even have a heal, I don't even have a heal, I don't even have research. It's research principles.
There's one over there. Well, a little bit down the hall, actually.
Hold on, I'm gonna get this machine.
I don't remember where I found his weapon.
Thank you, Ko-Fi bot. I'm fucking terrified right now.
Terrific.
That's Shrimpo. Hey, Shrimpo. Oh, he's right there.
These protein shakes are gross.
Is this one that's primed?
I think so. Don't know why. No, in all honesty. I was gonna say, don't die to Shrimpo, please. Oh my god!
I'm trying to get the research! That's Russia. Oh, why are you guys trying to do that? Who the fuck just...
Boxton and Shrimpo. Did he get both the capitals finally?
No. I'm gonna finish this fucking floor. Or at least try to.
Have you never finished the battle?
I don't think I did. What's Yada up to?
Yeah, we did! With me, you, and the other person that we're not
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That we're not supposed to talk about. What do you mean?
I don't think they would want us to tell us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's Yada up to?
I don't know. Let me look. Yada's doing a machine right now.
Okay.
They're next to like two other machines.
I had to put on my other
Sounds
headphone.
Yeah, Yada found a machine, by the way. So be careful of fast running around Dyle.
No!
And there goes Yada.
No. 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 I don't wanna.
Oh shoot, my phone's gonna die. I gotta plug it into my chat.
This is horrifying.
A wee bit.
I don't know if I can. I think I need to turn off Willwood. I need to turn him off. I need to listen.
We're still listening to Will right now.
blame me? I'm fucking terrified. I'm terrified. I'm actually terrified.
It's not that spooky of a horror game, right?
I don't know where he is right now.
If anything, accept your fate.
I don't want to accept my fate.
Accept your
I thought that was Dyle. I saw his bar.
You would know if it was Dyle, mate.
I know.
I think I may have to call it a night. I'm very...
No.
Dude, I'm sleepy. I can't help
Fuck,
that.
fuck, 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 fuck. Fuck me in the ass. Oh. Oh.
Dude, it's just Russia.
Wait for me, Russia. He's right fucking there. Mm.
18, 19. I think that makes 20. All in that same room.
We're just gonna find the research. That's what I do.
Well, don't die in a Protestant before you even get spotted by Dyle. Should, like, have Dyle follow you, and then... So at least that way, if you die to a common twisted, you can still have his research. I'm very eepy though.
Please don't leave me. Please. Please don't leave me. Don't leave me here.
But I'm so tired.
Shit, Russia! Fuck. Think it's safe if I do this one? Think it's safe if I do this one? Is it safe if I do this one? I think it is gonna be safe if I do this one. I know what? This is scary. This is so scary. I'm so fucking scared.
Out. Let's see. Who should I rate into?
I'm fucking scared. I'm fucking scared. That's the ones. I'm like shaking right now.
Bro, you're a little. I think I know who I'm gonna raid into. I'm very deep. I'm not gonna last.
Ah! No, 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 don't do that, don't do that.
Well, at least I got his research.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Did I spell their name right? I'm too tired.
Oh my god, 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 I'm so scared, I'm so scared. This is absolutely fucking terrifying.
There we go. I think I did it right. Not the right person.
I'm literally terrified, I'm literally terrified, I'm literally terrified. It's scary, this is scary, this is scary. See, this is scary.
I'm gonna try that again.
No, 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 no! You don't have to do this, 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 you do not have to do this, you don't have to do this. No, no.
They do. It's their job too. Anyways, I'm gonna raid out to 80 because
They don't have a fucking job, they're unemployed.
who's unemployed?
All of them!
The Twisteds?
Yes!
Aren't they supposed to?
They are unemployed. They are feeding off the system.
Yeah, but aren't they supposed to? Hold up. I'm gonna go on death and real quick.
They left me. This is so scary. This is so scary. I'm so legitimately scared. I had to turn off Will Wood. Sherpa, get the fuck away from me. I can hear him. Gosh, I'm so scared right now. I'm literally scared. I'm going to cry. Ah!
Okay,
I'm so scared right now. I'm so scared right now. I'm literally so fucking scared right now. He's right over there.
Yeah, I see that. Anyways, I'm gonna go finish eating and then I'll go
Don't,
to
please
bed.
don't leave me. Please don't leave me. I'm fucking
Is the other person
scared.
out here, though?
Yeah, but it's this. They're dead.
Yeah, I know they're dead. I heard they're fine.
They're fucking dead.
I know they are. I heard them
This is
die.
19, that's 20. Ah! Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die to this. These are the last machines that I kind of have to do. No, that's 3. 22. I need to find 23 and 24 because 20 fuck is primed. No, 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 no. No! 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 No!
Who did you die to?
Fuck! They all cornered me! No! Oh my god, that was so terrifying! That was so terrifying! Oh my gosh! Oh my
Pretty
gosh!
far with it.
That was horrifying! I don't want to do that again! I don't want to do that again! I don't want to do that again! Oh my gosh!
Okay, well, I'm gonna go get some sleep.
I need to get some sleep. I need to get some sleep too. Because I have work at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I get ya. Yeah, mate.
See ya. Who should we raid? Who should we raid? Because we're gonna raid someone, okay? We're going to raid someone. Who? I don't know. That was terrifying though. That was actually terrifying. Like, I'm like, hi, we're raiding someone. Do you want to join us? you joined right whenever we were ending. Holy cow, you missed the entire, like, I was terrified. I was the only one! The only one! Oh my gosh, that is like... Holy cow, oh my gosh, I'm like shaking still. But I have to go to bed, because I have work in the morning. How to live through... Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and raid. I'm sorry that you joined so late. You could probably drop a follow. You could probably catch me on my next stream. But I hope y'all have a nice day, night, whatever time it is for you. Be nice, be cool, have fun, be cool to the raidie. You know. Thank you for the follow. But I am gonna go ahead and raid and go to bed. I also will say there is a Discord that you can join. I don't know if that's the good update or like the things updated. It's probably not, but that's the fixed one. So you could probably just pop in there. But yeah, have a nice bye.